Greetings guys, it's Irish here. So this will be my last vlog for a while. Uh, a lot of I In this video I was just gonna answer some of your guys' comments on the last couple of videos and give you my answers here. So apparently, in my last vlog, a lot of people did not like me having an issue with distro hoppers. No, I guess I wasn't too clear with it. Starting off, if you're trying to move to other distros, it's good to distro hop, yes. However, I think my issue with the distro hoppers is that they don't stay on it long enough to be viable. Because, I've seen, so many people go distro to distro to distro and give it only a couple weeks here and there. Me personally, I think you need to give it at least a couple months to see if you truly want to stay on that distro. During my transition with my desktop computer, I did have Gentoo on it. However, with my new baby on the way, I decided to go a different route with my distro. So I would have to be distro hopping. I did try Void Linux, and I did that for about a month. I couldn't get my issues figured out, so I had to drop it because I do need to have USB capability. If I'm unable to see the stupid thing, then it defeats the whole purpose. I did try briefly, I tried Slackware, but I think I was too busy enough, so I couldn't get it installed, so I had to skip that. Right now, I have Arch Linux on it, and it's been running for 3 weeks. I'm going to give it another couple weeks to see if I want to keep doing that, and in that time I'm actually going to make some videos with it. So I'm technically distro hopping to see if I want to stay on Gentoo on that machine or move to something a little bit more stable. A lot of you, so I'm just going to get started with some of these. So Mr. Hunter said, I understand why some experienced Linux users come off as jaded. Because they've seen the ends of the earth and would only learn ends of the earth and only learn that maybe the grass wasn't greener after all. I'm just going to paraphrase, but I was talking to some people about this comment actually in my IRC channel, and one of them, I forget who, I think it was AccuBase or maybe Riper, brings up a good point that when the jaded thing, a little bit, but they don't go out of their comfort zone. Now, I had the same type of transition. I went from, like, say, Ubuntu's to Fedora to Manjaro, Arch, and then Gentoo. So I did a step-by-step thing and learned all I needed to know within that transition. And when someone finds a desktop environment or a window manager, they tend to stay there. And personally, it kind of gets boring. That's why I don't really distro hop, but I window manager hop. Right now I'm on i3. I've tried Herbsluft, I've tried Xmonad, I've tried Awesome, I tried DWM, I've tried KDE, GNOME, XFCE, Cinnamon, Mate. So just about all of the main desktop environments. But at least I tried it. I got out of my comfort zone. That's what I challenged Das Gregor, was it now almost a year ago, when he was on KDE for so many years, to get out of his comfort zone to try to learn something else. Because you could learn everything you need to know about Linux inside, say, Ubuntu or Mint with GUIs, but it may take you a while. I moved to Fedora and then to Arch because I wanted to know about the command line. I could have done that in Fedora, or I could have done that in Mint, because I think I was on Mint at the time when I moved over to Fedora. I could have learned all that stuff in it, but I moved over to those other distros because um, it forces me to use the command line. So I was trying to get out of my comfort zone. So I've tried. I don't think some experienced Linux users are a bit jaded, but I don't think a lot of them are. And I think those who actually know their system, know the distros in and out, learn out of their comfort zone, because that's the only way, in my eyes, to learn something new. So that's what this one was. I kind of found this one funny a little bit under my basic overview of the kernel. This guy thought I sounded like Darth Vader because anytime that I have my mic on, you can hear my voice, or you can hear my breathing a little bit too much. I've noticed that in previous videos, but I think I have nasal congestion, so I do apologize if you think I sound like Darth Vader, but I kind of find that funny. You were not the only one who's made that comment in the past, so don't worry about it. Um, Assad Ahmad says make local mod config. I've looked at that. Under Gentoo, you don't need to do this, but I think I helped a fellow person in the LDC with creating their own kernel under Arch Linux, and they do suggest you do this. So again, I try to do more in that video, more of the basics of the kernel configuration. So getting into the kernel might be different from Ubuntu, Fedora, OpenSUSE, Gentoo, LFS, stuff like that. So just go into the wiki or ask someone how to get into the config. I believe one of the first Linux YouTubers that I got into was Oh Hey It's Lou. He doesn't make any Linux videos anymore, which is unfortunate, but he does have some Linux kernel videos. It might be slightly outdated, and he does it on Debian/Ubuntu, so it's still viable, I feel, but a lot of the information, a lot of those modules might have changed since then, because I think it was in the 3.8, 3.9 series, so might be a little bit different. Thank you, English Bob. I kind of made that video for you when you were on Calculate. I do apologize that an update ruined your Calculate, which is unfortunate. There's nothing that you could have done, and I did watch your video, your live stream on the bricking of it, and yeah, I say, you know, there comes a day for every Linux user that you just don't want to screw around with your system. You just want it to work. So I completely understand that you are going to go to Peppermint. So yeah, I'm at that stage now. I've been on Linux again 6 years. I was, I wanted to help another guy that I met through IRC with the BSPWM and Conky, but I just don't feel like tinkering as much as I used to when I was on Arch. A lot of my videos back then, I did a lot of tinkering, and I showed it. That's how I learned how to theme i3 here, and how I learned how to do Herbstluft, Xmonad, and I would show it to you guys once I figured stuff out. So I'll still try to do that, but my time is very limited, obviously, since I do have a toddler to look after, a full-time job, and now I have a new baby on the way, so I'm not going to have as much time to play around with that. So thank you, Alan Rocco, for that. I again try to do very basic stuff with this, and this was on the basic overview of the Linux kernel. And then, yeah, here are the guys who spent a long time distro hopping. Apparently, a lot of people did not like the comment, like me straight off the bat, about distro hoppers. Again, I guess I wasn't too clear. I'm not saying like all, like, uh, saying all distro hopping is, well, crap. But, if you're still distro hopping every couple months or twice or three times a year, I still think that's too much. You may still learn some stuff, like Mr. Andrew Palm. He said that he distro hopped for a while, and every time that he played with a new distro, he learned something. Same thing with Fleecy Green. Uh, but the thing is, if you're not staying on a distro for a particular long time and learning how it works, and if anything happens, uh, fixing it, then you may not really learn much. Your knowledge might be limited to, say, if an update breaks, your audio doesn't work, your video doesn't work, something doesn't work, you have to learn how to fix it yourself instead of wiping it away and redoing everything. Because if you don't learn how to, solve some stuff, I don't know if you'll last too long on Linux, because Linux is awesome. You can really do a lot of stuff across the board. If you don't like this distribution, you can go to that and you're still going to have the same type of programs. Same thing in the BSDs. BSDs have a lot of the same programs as we do. They might be a little bit behind on some things. I would love to go to the BSDs, but they don't. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think they support Dropbox right now. And I do need Dropbox to go between computers. All of my computers, including my wife's, who's on a Mac, I I need to have at least one centralized cloud thing to back up my configs and stuff like that. So I would love to go to, and everyone says go to like the web thing, but it's really nice to have it easily in there, and also in your file manager right here. I just load up my configs here, Linux configs, and here are some of the programs that I have. So, you know, that's the nice thing, but I suggest probably staying put, because then you'll actually learn a lot more stuff than if you distro hopped here and there. Um, so a lot of people also comment about the view count on some of the videos. That was like my second, like, I don't get it type of thing. And apparently it's probably an algorithm, so the more likes a video gets, the more it goes higher up. But I'm sure for those who have been subscribed to me for a while, I never ask for likes and if you could subscribe. It's entirely up to you if you want to hit the like, and if you like my content that I produce throughout the whole thing, then go right ahead and subscribe. I'm always happy when I get an email stating this person subscribed to me. It's awesome. When I subscribe to someone, if I keep watching their videos, like different types of videos, and I laugh and stuff, I'll go ahead and subscribe. So if you guys keep watching some of my videos and like my content, please subscribe. Um, it's up to you if you guys want to subscribe. So I will never monetize. I will never ask for money, and I will never ask for likes and subscriptions, because I do this as a hobby. I do this for my own knowledge, to gain from you guys, because I do read all of your comments and I learn from that. I did the same thing when I was going through my ranks in Taekwondo. I started helping my master, my teacher, as soon as I could. So I think I was like an orange belt helping the kids, because I noticed that the adults learned faster than the kids, and I could help the kids, and that helped me learn faster. I was seeing how my instructor would teach, and I adapted a lot of his techniques. Same thing here on Linux. I tell you guys what I've been doing, and if something's incorrect, you guys correct me, and I learn from that, which is awesome. It's really a remarkable place that we live in right now because you can connect to people all over the world. I think I've talked to a lot of people in Australia, in England. It's really cool. So, on my Fun2, I did i3 because I think it was Chater wanted me to do i3. XFCE is really not that difficult. It's very similar. You just say XFCE4 dash meta. If you go to, let me go into here. So if we go into the Gentoo wiki and say XFCE, it tells you what you really need to install. Granted, you're not going to do the profile because Fun2 has a different type of profile, but it gives you, say, the base, or if you want the meta, it will give you the meta package too. And it'll tell you how to start, volume D. Some of this stuff might be a little bit outdated, to be honest, because I don't think it's got a lot of these themes here. I think the last time I tried doing that on my desktop when I was on Gentoo, some of these themes did not work, so it might be a little bit outdated. So let me go back here. I'm only going to answer a few of these things. Yeah, different strokes for different folks. Yeah, Zeb. Again, I'm not gonna beat a dead horse. I've explained my whole distro thing, and I guess I wasn't clear enough. So I'll try working on it. So yeah, a lot of YouTube reviews. I got a lot of positive things about distro reviews. That one person like called out Distro Tube. He does a lot of distro reviews, and I disagree with one of his series, like obscure window managers. Like 4 of them were not that obscure, but again, I'm in that world, so they may not be obscure, but I think Awesome Window Manager and i3 are more popular now than ever before. I don't think they're obscure. Xmonad a little bit, and Herbsloot for sure. There are not that many users of Herbsloot, so Rat Poison, there's a bunch of them that are out there. So I do occasionally go into his videos on stuff like that, but he had an excellent video on the saltiness of the Linux distro or the Linux community. I think a lot of people eventually will make that type of video. I've done it like once. Um, he's done it. Matthew Moore's done it, but I don't know how you guys feel about Matthew Moore's views. So yeah, again, the views thing, I understand. Again, not gonna ask you guys for to like it. So, and Lazy Geek Gamer, she actually brought up the fanboy thing. That's one of the other things I hate. I still understand fanboyism. I use Gentoo. I used it on both computers, but I'm not gonna, completely fanboy out. I could put it on all of my computers here. I wouldn't consider myself a fanboy. I will advocate it to those who I would think would want it, but like a lot of people ask, what should be my first distribution? And of course, you're going to get those people who say Arch or Gentoo. I'm like, that's not a good first distribution. If you've been around and you're getting a little bit bored, you're not learning much from your distro, try Arch, try Gentoo. That's when I would start proposing it, but I'm not going to be like the Arch meme, oh, I run Arch, or oh, I run Gentoo. And when because of that meme is because of the fanboyism. Same thing with phones, same thing with anything. I try not to be a fanboy of anything. I've always tried different stuff, martial arts. I've tried karate, aikido, jiu-jitsu, taekwondo. Same thing in the Linux world. I've settled on i3, and I have advocated it as a starting off point for window managers because the configuration is plain simple. If you want to, get into the grind of things, because i3 is limited a little bit, then you could go to awesome because you can put modules in awesome and you can make it look freaking fantastic. There's some awesome um, there's some awesome configurations and stuff like that I've seen on YouTube. Meshy's awesome configuration is, well, awesome. I've seen some really cool Xmonads, Herbsloofed, BSPWMs. So if you want to do more of a tinkering and adding on to stuff, i3 isn't there. So, but yeah, okay. So this one kind of this one was on my leaving Arch and saying hello to Gentoo. This guy's Capster says Arch is a great distro, which it is. If the community, in quotes, is keeping you away from that, it's sad. I don't think it's sad. A lot of the hostility I saw in the Arch was coming from the IRC channel. Now, if you're installing Arch or if you're installing a distro and you're having issues and you need resolution right away, you're not going to go into the forums because that could take days. You're going to go into the IRC channel because a lot of the ones with live DVDs has an IRC client, and if you click on that, it gives you it goes straight to their IRC channel for help. So if you're going to the Arch channel and you're needing help and someone's telling you, no, you're a piece of shit, then I'm sorry. That's going to turn anyone off away from using that distro. You should try to bring people to your distro to make it even better. Not saying RTFM. Granted, yet you need to do some research. But if you're a brand new user, you have no idea, you still have some Linux experience, help the person. Like, that it's just crazy. Just if you don't believe me, go into the Arch Linux IRC channel for like a couple days and just observe. And then go into the Gentoo one. Gentooers are so much nicer about it. I One of my subscribers who moved over to Gentoo recently was having issues. And I noted that I feel that Gentoo people know their systems a bit better and the whole Gentoo stuff than any of the, you don't see random people offering help with other distros because you really have to take their advice with a pinch of salt. I think I mentioned that in the video. If someone's like an operator, or if you see the symbol like it's called voice, they've been there for a while. They're probably a IRC administrator who helps people. Listen to them. Don't listen to some random person who does that. And I see a lot of that on the Arch and other various um, distros IRC channels. So it's really hard, and that's where a lot of people saying I talk about this on my channels, and you're not going to get much help from the Arch Linux IRC channel. Same thing with the forums. It might be getting a little bit better, but if people are stating that outside of the community because they've experienced it, then there's got to be some kernel of truth. So, but that's all I wanted to do on some of these. There's probably more. I usually try to um, answer you guys as possible. That's if I have something to say. Fun2 Linux Max Spec. It's German. I don't know exactly what it means, so I'm not going to respond. I'm going to say it's Fun2 Linux is great or something like that, I think. But I usually try to answer you guys, and but again, if there's nothing, if it's some weird statement, I don't have a response for it. I probably won't answer. So, but I think in the next video, I'm actually going to put OpenRC onto Arch Linux. Now I did systemd on Gentoo, and I thought it would be fun if I did an OpenRC on Arch. There is a wiki article for it, so I'm going to try to do it. If it breaks the system, then hey, I get to move on to something else. I'm not going to reinstall. I'm probably going to retry Slackware because that's fairly stable. If that doesn't work, I may just leave Windows on that spare partition and just this is my main computer anyway. I don't go down there as often. I may go down there more often because that's where uh, the baby's room will be right next to the computer. So I might be down there more often in the future, but I don't know. I just don't have a lot of time to, you know, spend on keeping installing distributions. So, but well, actually, I'll give you guys a choice. So if you want to see OpenRC, let me know. Or I had another idea. Since I did a Arch Linux on the Raspberry Pi, I thought I would try to do Gentoo on the first first generation Raspberry Pi. That would be a big project, obviously, but there are cool steps, and I could probably break this into several videos anyway. How to put Gentoo on a Raspberry Pi. I'm going to guess the steps are a bit different on the generation stuff, but yeah, let me know which one you guys want to see. Because with Gentoo on a Pi, you need to set up an environment on a system like a Gentoo system right now. You have to do cross compiling because the Pi isn't very powerful enough to, you know, do all the compiling of all the various stuff. I'm not going to put a desktop environment. I'll probably be putting my ZNC bouncer onto that thing. So let me know which one you guys want to see first. I might try to do both of them, but let me know which ones you guys want to see. And again, this will probably be my last vlog for a while. So, but have you guys have a good weekend, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.